But just for you, first of all, good morning and welcome. Thank you for being with us. Tomorrow is going to be your first decision day in the NWSL, since it originally started in 2023, but it took a hiatus last year. So pretty much every team will be playing at once. And a big crowd, as you know, is expected tomorrow as the Courage look to clinch a playoff spot. So if you could just talk a little bit about your thoughts on tomorrow's matchup, and then what sort of atmosphere are you expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally really excited. I've not played North Carolina yet, so I'm not really sure what to expect from the crowd, to be honest. Obviously, with it being decision day, hoping that the fans come out, whether it's for us or against us, I think it helps to create a really exciting environment. So, obviously, I'm expecting a big challenge. I think North Carolina are a great team. They're going to be really tough to beat. There's a lot on the line for them. So, yeah, I'm just hoping for a really good, exciting, feisty game, really.
Awesome. Sean, see you're unmuted. Do you have any questions? You can get us started.
Sure. Thank you for taking my question, Jess. Obviously, you've been in some very big atmospheres, big matches with Chelsea, England internationals. How do you take your experiences that you've had throughout your career in pressure environments and relay the right message to the team?
I think it's just about making sure we focus on us. We're focusing on what we can control and what we can do. I think as and trying to block out the outside noise. You can't control how the opposition do or their fans. You can only control what we do. So it's focusing on us, and I think that's the key message really.
Awesome. I'll take one, Jess, here. If we can sort of take a step back and look at the season as a whole, maybe. Juan talked about it in his press conference. He's talked about it throughout this season. There's been a lot of integration of new players from last year, of course. A lot of new arrivals, even during the season, bringing on a couple new additions. If you could just talk about how enjoyable it's been to get to sort of bond with new teammates and create a new sort of environment around the club. And where is that environment at, and how great is the team gelled together as we approach a very important time in the season, such as the playoffs?
Yeah, it's I think having new signings is always difficult. And sometimes even in the middle of the season is even harder. But I think the additions that we've had have been great. They've fitted into the team so well as if they've been here just as long as I have, which is only a year. So that's been really nice. Obviously, Jaden being our newest addition is like she's always been here. So I think that's really nice the way that they've just kind of integrated into the squad so easily. And I think it just gives us kind of more confidence going into the playoffs. With us getting, I guess, like more together as a squad. And hopefully that helps with the connection on the pitch. So I think the more time we have together, the better we'll get.
And then I have one more question that I'll go with. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, is decision day, and the interesting and cool feature about it is that pretty much every single team in the league will be playing at the same time tomorrow. And of course, Gotham has already clinched the playoffs, but there's still a chance to clinch fourth place for the club and potentially host a home playoff quarterfinal. Um, I guess how much do you think about those things on the day of a game? How much does that play through your mind, if at all? Or is it more just keep focused on the task ahead and make sure we do the job against North Carolina tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the focus has just got to be about us doing our job. We're not going to get complacent because we've already clinched. We want to finish as high up the table as possible. We want to try and get that home playoff spot. So I think that obviously that's really key for us. And I think it's just again, it's not focusing on the occasion. It's just focusing on our basics, doing what we need to do to pick up 3 points tomorrow.
Awesome. There's a question in the chat from Stacy that I will pass along to you. I believe the premise of the question is, what do you think is going to be different in this match against North Carolina compared to the one earlier this season, in which we defeated them 3-1 at home? Obviously, a different coach this time around in Nathan Thackeray than Sean Nahas. Um, what sort of differences have you maybe seen or have talked about in their game that you're expecting tomorrow that might be different from the first meeting earlier this season?
To be honest, not really talked about so much because we've just got back from international. So much, we've had so much time to go over them yet. But I think obviously a different manager opposes different tactics. And I think ultimately, there's previous games that you play against an opposition are irrelevant. I think you move on to the next game, and I think they've got a lot more on the line. So I think the kind of like I mentioned earlier, the fieriness, the competitive nature, I think will take over a bit more, and I think it's going to be a really tough team to break down. Obviously, they have some really great players. Denise Sullivan being back in as well. She's obviously been a great player for North Carolina. So we're, I think, just expecting a really tough game, and we know that we've got to be on our A game in order to get a positive result out of the game tomorrow.
Awesome. We'll do a last call for questions. If anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand and I will get to you. I'll give it a second here. If not, Sean, you have one?
Hi, Jess. I just want to ask, you were mentioning that North Carolina is difficult to break down, but could you key upon the strengths of your team in the final third and how your teammates have been able to gel together and sustain some positive attacks and how you match up against a solid back line like North Carolina's?
Yeah, I think, we've got some individual great talents, mid, 1v1s, combination plays and Jaden, Rose up there as well. Katie and Astaire, I think we've got a really great forward line. And for us obviously having Gabby Portillo as well, is really nice. So I think it's just about us connecting. I think at the moment or throughout the season we've created a lot of opportunities, but not necessarily been clinical. But I think that those sorts of things just come. We'll continue to work on our final third play and connecting with one another. We've got the talent up there to be more to get more goals. It's just about trying to find the consistency now.